Freaks and geeks of horror.
All right, welcome to the 4th episode of Freaks and Geeks of Horror podcast. Everybody's here. All 4 fools are here. We've got Richie Martinez, we've got Nick Gervais, Paolo Alonzo, and myself, Hillary Arroyo. And before we get started, we want to acknowledge the passing of Tony Todd, R.I.P. He was an amazing film actor in horror. Does anybody want to say a few words for our friend?
Yeah, I mean, Candyman's legendary. He's definitely a movie that inspired a lot of horror fans and, horror films. And, rest in peace. He's definitely going to be missed. And, he's a legend.
Yeah, hands down. The Candyman and he did, man. That's where I first got introduced to him. And
yes.
Then he did the remake of Night of the Living Dead and was even in The Rock and a few other things. I thought he was just horror, but he wasn't really. Yeah, he was
Final
great.
Destination.
Yeah, the Final Destination movies.
Yeah. Word. So, sad times, but will always be remembered in the cool medium of film. Yep. We also want to take a second to, on a happier note, shout out everybody that's been subscribing and liking. We appreciate it. Yeah. And any new viewers, please continue to do so. And shout out to everybody that's also come up to us, because we've had some of our friends. Thanks, Shamim. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Sona. Appreciate everyone giving us good feedback and telling us they're enjoying it. It really pushes us to want to do better and want to keep doing it too. We love doing it, but we also love hearing people say they enjoy it. So thank you guys.
Some more feedback. We love it. We enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure.
We encourage it.
Absolutely. And apparently there's somebody going around town putting stickers on crosswalk signs. Knock it off. It's not good.
It's vandalism.
If you see us and you want some stickers, just tell us. We got a bunch of them, and we're more than happy to hand them out at the gym and whatnot. But yeah, come find us and we'll give you a few.
Yeah. All right. So,
Nudge.
So we are going to be talking about the movie Tremors. It's a movie from 1990. It's amazing. And Paolo picked it. And I think Paolo should start by saying why he picked it.
I did pick it. So I was a little embarrassed to pick this movie. It's kind of a silly movie. It's campy as hell. It holds a special place in my heart, though. It was honestly one of the first movies that kind of got me into horror. I mean, it came out in 1990. I was, 7 when it came out. I didn't see it in theaters or anything. I doubt you'd meet someone that did see it in theaters, because in the box office, when it came out, it actually didn't do very well. But the same year, it actually became one of the most rented movies of 1990. And, my family was definitely part of that group. We rented it. I want to say we rented it multiple times. We liked it that much. It kind of blends horror and comedy and just great character building. It's such a cool vehicle. It's not overly scary, but it still has some good scary stuff. Great practical effects. It just has kind of that. It's just hit a cool sweet spot, a few different little sweet spots, and kind of walks that little tightrope between comedy and horror almost, because there's quite a few funny things going on in the movie. But yeah, the basic premise of the movie is, it's a very low population town. It's a fictional town called Perfection, Nevada. But I think it was actually filmed in, Darwin, California. So right on the Nevada line. So it kind of passes for Nevada. But great backdrop, really desolate. You see the Sierra Nevadas in the background. I think it's a town, I think Richie was saying, of 14 people or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what they said the population was in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, but basically it's, these 2 handymen, Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward, Val and Earl. It's these 2 handymen that are kind of sick of the life out there. They're just doing all these little odd jobs trying to get by, and, their dream is to kind of get out of there. But before that happens, there's this mysterious deaths that keep happening, and by the time they figure out what it is, they discover these underground creatures that are causing these seismic shifts and earthquakes and stuff like that, and they travel underground and basically suck you underground and kill you. There's not really a whole lot of explanation. You don't know if they're they're hypothesizing, do they come from space? Are they, radiation, mutations? Are they, they don't really know what they are, where they came from, but they're these worm-like creatures that have like tentacles, and they're basically trying to suck you underground. So pretty scary, I guess, but not like I said, not really that scary.
No. Not scary at all. I feel like it's like one of those movies where if it was on TV on a Saturday afternoon, you could watch it with your family and it would be okay.
But that's kind of where I watched it. It would always be on TV.
Always.
It was one of those movies that was like on TV. I watched it in the early 90s, I would say, or maybe even like late 90s, but it was always on TV. I watched it many times. That's kind of how I got introduced. I didn't know about it, but when it was on TV and I watched it, and then I watched it a few more times because it was always on, and it was one of those movies that you could watch with your family. You could watch and not be like too scared, but you know that it's pretty creepy situation, like getting sucked in from the bottom of the dirt or whatever by these weird creatures from outer space. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't know where they're from. But yeah, it was super fun to watch, especially like being a kid, because it's like. It's easy to watch. Your parents are not going to tell you like shouldn't be watching that because it's not that creepy, you know what I'm saying? But it's like creepy enough to be like, oh, what if that did happen, you know? So got to find some rocks or something to stand over. So
no, that's a great point. And one reason why it stands out to me is because like you were saying, my mom turned me onto it when I was like, I think 6 or 7. We rented it from West Coast Video, I think multiple times. Yeah. The significance of that is my mom hates horror movies. And she loved this movie because, like you said, it's not exactly a horror, right? It's all set in the daytime. It's really fun. And it's something that you can just keep watching over and over again. And they actually, like the studio used to have an R rating, and they brought it down to a PG-13 by cutting out some F-bombs.
Yeah.
So this way they can make it family friendly, you know?
Mother humper.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
I have some
Humper,
quotes. I have quotes that I'm going to read later that are going to outline just exactly that, like how they could not say the F word very frequently. So there's some weird like substitute words that they used that were just stupid sounding.
Man, how good of a cast is that? That's an amazing cast from beginning.
Good.
Like every character in there is just amazing. Great actors, actresses. It's a great film, honestly, with great characters and with great actors, you know. So very fun, very good pick. You know, it was definitely excited when you mentioned it that you wanted us to review this one, and yeah, man, it still holds up.
The cast, honestly, upon watching it a few times for the lead up to this, is kind of what stuck out to me with this, because obviously you got Kevin Bacon, legend, you know, he's gone on to be Kevin Bacon. Everyone knows Kevin Bacon. But then you got the dad from Family Ties, who is Bert, the survivalist. The survivalist conspiracy
the not so
theory
bright
guy.
survivalist.
Yeah. There's Reba McEntire. There's the guy that plays Walter, Victor, what's his name? Victor Wong. He's like a he's like the dude from Big Trouble in Little China. He's in 3 Ninjas. They even have the little girl from Jurassic Park. Mindy, who is Mindy. She's the girl on the pogo stick. There's just all these little all these, I don't want to say cameos, but you know, kind of before everyone kind of really got popping, you know, Tremors had a lot of these people in there.
And they have some lookalikes too. There's like a fake Cheech Marin, Miguel, who's very endearing, but it's definitely a ripoff. And then a kid who kind of looks like the older brother from the Wonder Years, but it's not him. It's not him.
Yeah, I thought it was him at first. I was like, that looks like him, but no.
I never thought. That's a great observation. That's what's been nagging at me.
Since he's been in a lot of different like shows of that time period, and I was like, is that Kevin's brother? But I was like, no, I don't think it is. He acts like him though. Melvin, he's just kind of that punk kid who's always, you know, trying to prank everybody. Be like, he came out with the little graboid tentacle on his neck, like
that little punk.
It's just like shut the hell up.
And people would just straight up say, "I'm gonna kill you if you do that again." He'll just do it again. And Rhonda the seismologist.
Yeah, Rhonda the seismologist. That's right. They're constantly looking to her because they think she's, you know, she knows what the graboids are up to, and she's always like, guys, I have no idea. I know that there's a few of them out there. That's all I know.
But then she'd speculate Like she's was it paleontologist, and then she'd be like, "But I really don't know." Like, come on, just stop faking.
So do you guys know what the movie was supposed to be called prior of Tremors?
I do, but go ahead and say it.
No, that's you.
No.
Your
know
pick. Your pick.
Come on. No, I think it was called Land Sharks,
Land
right?
Sharks,
I think
yeah.
as the writers were shopping it, they were like Land Sharks. But I think
Land
this
Sharks.
was around the time that SNL was
They had a
that
skit.
famous skit with Land Sharks.
Yep.
You know?
Oh, you're right.
And they were like,
so-
all right, maybe not.
So that's the reason why it wasn't called Land Sharks. But honestly, I think Tremors was the perfect name for it. If it was called Land Sharks, I think it would have gave it a different feel.
Yeah. Even though, yeah, they kind of are land sharks, but yeah, it's not as accurate. I
For
think
sure.
Tremors was good, especially with the whole seismologist angle.
Yep.
I think it was great.
It's funny what you said about the seismologist, about how like everybody starts looking to her for like advice, but then like whenever it's really needed, like when they're on the rock and they're like, we got to get a plan, and she's like, hold on, and they're still arguing, not paying attention to her at all. And then later they're like, what should we do? She's like, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, she was trying to play both sides.
How many times did you guys watch it prior of this one time that we watched it for this? Have you guys watched it many times? Have you guys watched it a few times?
Oh, man.
I think it's one of the movies that I've watched many times just because it was always on. Like I said, so it's probably, I would say I'm like in the like double digits probably. Like
Yeah.
not super
Wow.
high
For
double
sure.
digits.
I would
but
say the same thing.
double digits for sure.
Well, like you said, it was always on TV, and like Nick here, we rented it a bunch of times too. It was just one of those movies where it was like, mom and dad were always down to watch that one again too. It was just a fun movie, not too scary. It just walks that perfect balance between, it's almost like an adventure movie too. It's like kind of all over the, not all over the maps, but kind of hits a lot of the right notes, and it doesn't hammer any one note too much. So it's got a good balance, I think.
That's a good point. Yeah, with like the comedy and even the dynamic between the characters, like Val and Earl are always arguing, but they're kind of like a family. They've been
buds,
together for a while. Yeah.
So all right, so let's hear them quotes.
Oh wait, no, let's save them because
All right,
I think we should talk about. Okay,
We can do quotes.
unless you want to hear them
Yeah,
right
let's
now.
do it. I
Okay.
want to hear some quotes.
All
so
right,
let's do it.
let me flip through my notes to the quotes. Okay, first one. Oh gosh, I was gonna try to say it in like the most authentic way too. Okay, just a second.
Drop it.
Okay. Here's some Swiss cheese and bullets.
That was such a weird. He says it so normally too. So this is what Victor says when he's.
No, Walter.
Oh, you're right,
Walter. Like the cowboys are gonna borrow the horses to go and like try to get help, and here comes Walter, and he's like, "Here's some Swiss cheese and bullets," and I just love that part so much because Walter is pretty cool, and poor Walter. Anyway, okay. Get out of your pants.
Such a silly scene. It's like Rhonda's getting all wrapped up in barbed wire as a graboid.
She
trying to
wraps
get to
herself
her.
in barbed wire.
And of course, Val comes by to the rescue, and it's like, you got to take off your pants to get out. Sorry, lady.
You know that actress, Finn Carter, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
She like they didn't practice that or whatever. So like she really just got undressed for the first time in front of Kevin Bacon. So like the reaction on her face is like all genuine.
That's crazy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, likewise. I didn't know that at all.
It's funny because that does kind of show up on screen. She does seem a little like a little shy and kind of embarrassed,
He's like, trust me, this will work.
It's funny
Definitely
too because
freaked out.
later, like Val's cleaning her up, while she has all the blood and stuff, and then Earl's just in the corner, like smoking a cigarette, like it's like what a creep, dude. Go look the other way or something.
He likes to watch, yeah.
Until Miguel brings her some pants. Okay, here's another. Stupid son of a bitch knocked itself cold.
Yeah. I love the liberal use of son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That's like the go-to gosh darn it basically in
Yeah.
the film. Everyone's saying
Totally.
son of a bitch.
Yeah, I even like crossed out a few that seemed redundant because it was just too many
'Cause they're
sons
all
of
son
bitches.
of a bitch.
Yeah, I was just like, that's too many. Damn prairie dog burrow, little sons of bitches. Because Earl thought that he was getting grabbed by a graboid, but he really just like stepped in a prairie dog burrow.
Can I say
Sons of
something
bitches.
really quick? What I thought
Yeah.
was so funny about that scene is like, 'cause they're walking all serious, and then
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon turns around and he's like ready to whoop some ass, and then he's like, "Sons of bitches!" Like all his hate towards the potential underground worms got shifted to these little subterranean fur balls.
Like everybody's a little son of a bitch in the desert. son of a goddamn bitch.
That was good too. I like the accent. Yep.
Yeah, I had to get that one just right. We killed that mother humper.
Yeah.
Mother humper.
Wait. There are 2 more mother humpers.
Yeah. That's There were a few good ones where they were trying to substitute the F-bombs in to make it PG-13. That was definitely one of them. And then the iconic one at the end where I think he said, I hope you can fly, mother humper.
No. It's even more awkward. He says, I crossed it out. I don't know why I crossed it out. Can you fly, you sucker?
Yeah, sucker. That's what it was.
I think it was supposed to be, can you fly, you fucker?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think some of them, they actually filmed it that way and just dubbed it over. Because when on the roof, he's like, only 2 more mother humpers, Bert. He clearly doesn't say humper.
Yeah. That's clearly an overdub for sure.
They're just the strangest words being used. All right.
Yeah, good quotes.
Those are the
That's the end of the quotes.
Those are the quotes.
Really
Should we
quick,
talk
really-
about what a graboid is?
Yeah, the graboids are cool. Like, I know there's a bunch of other movies where they kind of morph into other stuff. I've seen a handful of them.
I think like the last one was the 7, right? I think that's the last one they made.
7?
I think so. I think I
then-
got to 3.
Yeah.
I'd like to watch the other
I
ones.
actually only heard of these movies, but I've only watched the first one. But I know like the 7th, they're like in the like somewhere in the jungle, and then there's some like different species.
That's cool.
Yeah, some weird shit.
Yeah,
Some
I think
predator-ish.
and the other ones, it's
I
like
don't know.
they're like I think in the second one they have. I'm not even joking. They're called like ass blasters or something like that. Where they shoot out of their butts and they launch like this like fire out of their butt so they can like fly, and they have like feet. And then they have like in the third one, I think they're called like shriekers or something like that, and they like yell at you, like they use like echolocation on the ground to kind of like find you and detect you.
I know they have one that they're like in the ice or in the snow, right?
Ooh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
one
not
of
sure
the
which
later
numbers.
ones.
Yeah, and I know they had like some shows too, right? They had like spin-off shows.
There
and
was a
stuff
season,
like
I
that.
think that
There was a season, and then they did a pilot of it again, and it just didn't hit. You know, they didn't go with it.
Yeah, they had like 13 episodes on the Sci-Fi Channel, and then they like Sci-Fi got it and was like, cool, and they're like, well, we don't like the way you filmed it, so they put the episodes out of order. Like, yeah, like the pilot was like episode 6, and like, yeah, it's wild because
Weird.
in, like the way they edited it or whatever. It's as weird as it sounds.
All
But
right.
apparently, it's got decent ratings. It's on Tubi. I'm probably gonna check
all
it
right,
out.
no, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
check that out too.
Interesting.
But the graboids are cool. Yeah, in the original Tremors, they're obviously big underground worms with like these claws for mouths, and they have like these tentacles that go out and try to feel around and grab you in. And that's eventually why they're named graboids in the movie, which was a funny scene too when they're all trying to name it.
Snakeoids.
Suckoids,
Yeah.
snakeoids.
Yeah.
Gotta have oids at the end.
Yeah.
But,
Snake monsters.
But yeah, the graboids, they can basically hear you underground, so that's why they're constantly and they can smash through most of the dirt. That's why they're constantly trying to look for rocks, or like they're trying to get to the granite mountain so that they can't be got. But
Yeah, they can't climb.
yeah, they can't
Yeah.
climb.
Graboids can't climb.
But man, it's such a cool creature. You kind of see it pop its head out every now and then. I don't think they abuse really showing it too much.
I mean, I think it was brilliant that they didn't show it that much. I mean, they didn't have effects or nothing like that. It was really just kind of straightforward. So it's like you tell it's kind of like cheapish, but
Yeah.
I think that is what made it fun too. You're like,
Totally.
oh, that's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like the way they made the graboids is super cool. Especially like the guys with the tentacles. You know what I'm saying? Like the tentacle looking things or whatever. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
That's
And-
dope how they made it like they kind of
like
made it
sock
kinda like
puppets,
Jaws.
right?
Yeah, they look like
Yeah,
sock puppets.
good
actually.
call.
Yeah. They look little hand puppets.
It looked like they had like bloody mouths and stuff, little teeth on it. Yeah, it was
When
really
they think
cool.
that like those are the creatures at first, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, there's got to be a bunch of them or whatever. Just one or 4, and that's like their tongue.
Yeah.
Like, and they filmed it kind of like you said, they didn't show them too much. So it's kind of like Jaws, like even
Yeah.
from the point of view, and then like you see just enough, but you're like, ooh, intrigued.
Yeah, the
A little
POV
scared.
shots were cool. I was reading up on it a little bit. I guess they were designed by this company called Amalgamated Dynamics, and they specialize in like practical effects. And they actually wound up doing the practical effects for like I think the guy that was like the head guy of that company, was like a Stan Winston disciple.
Oh wow.
And so like they also did the effects for Death Becomes Her, which they got an Academy Award for.
Oh, Meryl
and they
Streep,
did the
yeah.
effects for Starship Troopers.
Oh, that's cool.
And they also did like Alien 3 and on, a lot of the practical effects. You look at the list of what they did, I was just like, wow, there's quite a bit. There's like a big list of like quite a few movies on there that they played a role in like the practical effects of it. And it's like, oh wow, that's kind of a cool little lineage.
That's I had no idea. That's rad. I
Yeah.
thought it was a one and done thing.
I thought
to be
I
honest
would
with
have
you,
thought
yeah.
so too, but like I guess like with the big worm, even where they the worm that smashes through the aqueduct, they go back and Kevin Bacon's like, I found the ass end of it,
Forgot about that quote.
They really made a foam casting that thing and then buried it to try and get it, make it look all authentic and stuff. So they were trying all these little practical things to make it look as cool as possible, and it does a job. I couldn't imagine all that stuff being CG. It being real really brought a
For
sense
sure.
of like realness to it without
And
I just said the word again, but
half of these movies that we watch or whatever that are horror based are usually in the dark, they in the shadows and stuff. This is literally in a broad daylight. You can see every single like detail or flaw,
Yeah.
whichever way
Yeah.
you want to take
Totally.
it. So
Good observation.
It made it really
Nick
cool
said
in that
earlier
sense.
too. I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't think of that, but you're right. It's all during the day, and it's still effective. That's actually quite a feat.
It's like no dark at all.
Yeah,
Now that we're
not
thinking
at all.
about it, like it's
not at all.
Is it like all one day? No, because there's
There's
the
multiple
doctor.
days. The doctor and
gets
stuff
killed the
happens
one
at night.
time.
Yeah.
The doctor gets his car buried which is kind of a funny scene too, because
That's a hilarious
the
scene.
lady
Like,
in the car and she's like doesn't have the key, so it's like she's getting the car swallowed ass first, and it's like all she's doing is turning on her lights and honking. It's just like you could just get out and make a run for it, but nope, going down with the ship, I guess.
Where the golden oldies coming from?
yeah. When they actually find the car, that was a good line. That was great. Let's see what else we got on there.
So there's some cool kills, right? Like some cool kills in it. Some cool.
What's your favorite one?
For me, my favorite kill is probably the jackhammer one. The guy that's
That's on my list. I like that
he's
one.
jackhammering the road or whatever,
Right.
and then the graboids come, and he like stabs one of the graboids.
Yeah, the blood starts
And
coming
then,
up.
and then the blood starts coming up, and then it's like it starts going, and then the jackhammer cord wraps around his ankle and takes him with him, and then it's
Yeah.
like, peace, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
That one was
I
cool.
thought that was one of the coolest one. I do like the car one as well.
The car one
when,
was cool.
when that lady gets sucked in from the car. Those are like my two favorites. So
Pretty
That's dope.
badass. I was always. Wait, you got one, Hill?
It's not a cool death. I know other people are going to talk about much cooler deaths, but I think that what's his name? The dude who got sucked through the tire.
Nestor.
Nestor. And everybody's like, no, Nestor, don't go there. And then he just like sits in it like an inner tube, and it just grabs him from the midsection and pulls him underground. You can hear him like screaming underground. It's not a cool death, but it's a funny, memorable death. I like that death.
You know what's pretty awesome? I'm glad you brought that up, because if you didn't, I would have said that. I watched it like 3 times, and like the third time I noticed the sound editing on that is so clutch. He gets sucked down, screams, it muffles and fades as the point of view starts going. I'm like,
Yeah.
like that was legit.
Yeah.
That sounded like he's actually inside the
They're
creature
dragging
as it's
him.
moving on to its next
that one was
meal.
good.
Poor Nestor.
That one's good. Yeah.
what about
Nestor.
you, Paolo?
Honestly, I like the tire one too,
Yeah.
and I like the jackhammer one.
Yeah.
The jackhammer one kind of, I think, flew under the radar, but it was a cool effect to see the blood, and then the brrr just kind of jets off.
Because I feel that that's a very important scene, because you could see that there's like, you could penetrate through them. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you could actually make them bleed. You can make them hurt. And that's the first time we saw that in that movie, that they're like, they could actually like hurt.
Totally.
You hear it scream and stuff too.
Yeah. So I feel that was a very important scene, and I think it's an underrated scene as well. Of course, like it's fun that he got killed that way. It's funny too, the way he got killed. But then it kind of shows a lot of the characters of the graboids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it shows that you could potentially kill them. They bleed, they hurt. So
I'm gonna say like, so I think it's kind of a cool death, but it's like an indirect, like, so Edgar Deems right in the beginning when they're driving, he's like, that's Edgar, was that jacket everywhere?
Yeah.
And they go, and he's just stuck up there.
he's stuck there.
He's dehydrated to death. And then later they're like, somebody's chasing them. Like, who's afraid of a Winchester or whatever it is?
Yeah.
What the hell happened? So it's like mysterious, but
Yeah.
you got dehydrated to death for 3 days. It's wild.
And I like that they didn't understand how he got dehydrated until later, and they're like, "Oh, we get it," because they just wait for you. That's the thing about the graboids is like when they basically spent the nights out on the rocks. You know, I think it was Earl, Val, and Rhonda when they were pole vaulting scene, and they were trying to get to the car, and they were like, we'll just wait it out. Maybe we'll get bored and it'll go away, but it'll just wait you out. That's the kind of the gnarly thing about those things. It seems like, must have a slow metabolism or something. So it's just, I'll wait. I can wait.
Because like the next day they throw something on the ground.
So
and
if you really think about it, like it advances the character throughout the movie. You first hear, you're like, well, why was he stuck up there? You know what I'm saying? Like nobody really knows. Then of course they start coming out slowly. You start realizing that you could actually hurt them, and then it just keeps on advancing the character of the graboids. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and then at the end you're like, okay, it's just the tentacles, and then it's like, oh no, it's actually more than that, and it just keeps on going. And I think that makes it really fun. It's like it doesn't show you the whole process. It like slowly shows you what's happening and who they are, and by the end you're like, okay, cool,
Yeah, you get the big picture.
You get the big picture,
totally.
And then you get the big deaths too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
like,
man, I love that.
So
part.
it's like I think it just keeps on going, and you're like, okay, we could kill them like this. Oh shit, but they're smart. As you start realizing like they're getting smarter as they go.
Yeah.
So then you're like, well, we're smarter than them. That also show another character in the sequence. Like it shows more of their character, and it's like, okay, we could outsmart them. That's how we're gonna end up killing them overall. You know what I'm saying? So it's like development of the character as it goes on through the movie. It's pretty fucking cool.
Totally.
Yeah, and they have to outsmart each individual graboid.
Yeah, they're all different,
Yeah.
right? They all have different minds. So
should we talk about some badass graboid deaths, or like
just badass stuff in general?
Yeah, let's talk about some badass stuff.
Yeah,
so you know what the baddest thing in the movie is?
What?
The most badass thing?
Do tell.
Kevin Bacon hammering.
Yes,
dude.
Yes. Let's talk about this
so
moment. Oh my god!
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that.
Thank you.
That.
Let's
so
talk about it.
Beginning, right? Is that what you're talking about? Where he's trying to hammer that nail into the post?
Yeah, he's trying to hammer the nail in the post because they're putting the barbed wire up.
Yeah.
So he's hammering, and he misses like 100 times.
He misses every strike.
He didn't hit it once.
And then I think the last one he bends the nail. It's like,
oh my god!
And then the last one just goes dunk. And then he's like, I'm done. That's enough.
So obviously that's not the most badass thing, but definitely have to throw it
that was
out there.
hilarious. I love that part.
There's so many silly things that happen, but we're gonna delay that gratification. Let's talk about the bad stuff, because there's so much silly stuff that I can't wait to talk about.
No, honestly, some of the silly stuff and badass stuff kind of carries over.
Yeah, they overlap.
The badass stuff for me, some of it was like, I love the whole basement scene with the elephant gun and Bert and Heather.
He's just going down his arsenal.
Oh,
down
man.
the whole wall.
They're just unloading on this thing. Reba, or Heather rather. Well, it's Reba, but she's got the two pistols. She's like, dun, 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 dun. They're just pulling stuff off the wall, not even bothering to reload it.
There's magazine tour, it's like they were waiting for that moment. They're like, because it was like during the Cold War they filmed it, so they're like, oh, enemies are here. Let's do it. Broke into the wrong.
You broke into
record.
the wrong. Yeah. That part was great. I love that part. I thought it was hilarious.
Kevin Bacon has a pretty cool scene in it as well. Like he was supposed to like stay back, in that final scene he was supposed to stay back, and he's like, nope, and then he runs up. That's pretty super, like, heroish-ish, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that was a cool scene. Like, he kind of took one for the team, and he's like, nope, I'm going out there. He knew he was faster, potentially stronger, you know what I'm saying? So he's just like running at it.
And he plays paper, rock, scissors to
there you
figure
go.
it out, just like us.
So,
what are you doing? He's like, I got a plan.
Yeah.
Should we interweave the silly shit into the badass shit? Because
Just
it's like
talk about it
for
all.
every badass thing that happens, there's a silly thing that happens. Because when Kevin Bacon jumps off of the roof to start running to lead the graboid away, he lands fully on his ass.
Yeah. He socks Earl in the face to distract him, right?
Yeah, or
And
in
then
the
he
gut or something like that.
Yeah. And then he just jumps off, lands on his ass.
Was that when the roof, like, I wasn't sure if that meant to happen in the movie. The roof,
I don't
like,
think
kind
it
of like,
did.
yeah, like
It like sloped accidentally, and then he just plopped.
Yeah.
Fully plopped.
Maybe it wasn't on purpose, but
I don't think so.
I don't think it was on
I don't think
purpose.
so. He looked like he got a little messed up.
But he pulled it together.
what else we got?
The pogo
Oh.
girl.
Pogo girl.
Pogo
just like-
girl. Oh my goodness.
447. Like,
Yeah,
he's
Yeah,
counting.
you're
He's
just
got
like,
the
headphones
damn,
on.
she can't get her off of that. But I mean, in a town with 14 people, I mean, what else is there really to do? You know?
Yeah.
I love the use of the pipe bombs.
Oh yeah,
I
So
thought
cool.
that was so badass. I love how
So
Bert
good.
and Heather were all so prepared. And I gotta say, one of my favorite scenes, and it's gross, but where they kill one of the graboids with the pipe bomb, and it explodes and it gets all over them.
Oh yeah,
Blech.
that's the one where they're fishing.
Yeah,
Right? That-
Yeah, and
we're
it
gonna
takes
go
the bait.
They
fishing,
have the
and
little
then it's like,
fuse.
boom.
They light it. They wait for it to swallow the thing, and when it explodes, I don't know why. It's still even. I remember thinking this as a little kid. I was like, those guts remind me the inside of like a Taco Bell bean burrito.
Oh no!
You're not lying, man.
Like, why are those
It's all
beans
like-
orange?
It's like all like melted cheese and the red sauce and the I don't know. It just reminded me of it. I was like,
so gross.
it's somehow
so gross.
it doesn't gross me out. That was great. What
And
else we got on
stinky.
there?
Why are they so
As far
stinky?
as badass stuff, I don't know. What you got?
have I got?
What's one of your favorite badass scenes there, Nick?
I'd say besides Bert and Heather like going down their arsenal, I love it, man. When the graboid just breaks into Walter's store and eats him.
Yeah,
Like, it just
it's
seemed like-
savage.
Like I was like, oh, he's gonna be like one of the final guys.
Yeah, you
But-
would think so.
Yeah, he was so helpful. He's bargaining
You know
for the
what?
snake, and then he's gone. It's kind of sad.
That's that damn what is it? It's the freezer, right? That's what.
The Pepsi
is
cooler.
that
Yep.
It starts vibrating, and it's like, oh, it's all downhill from there.
Yeah.
The graboids find them
Goddamn cooler.
because they were
Son
doing
of
all
a
right
bitch
until
cooler.
Yeah.
They were kind of regrouped after the initial attack. You're like, okay, they're kind of trying to formulate a plan, but before you know it, and there's a little, a precursor to that because in the beginning, he's complaining about, oh, I think a bearing's out. You think you guys can fix it? And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
we plan ahead so we don't have to do anything now, kind of thing. I thought that was a funny
I love
line.
that part.
And man, they were just trying to get out of the city. They were just like
Yeah.
anything to like
couldn't
just
do
get
it.
the hell out of here.
Yeah,
And
they
it
were
was
over
like,
it. They were literally on their way out, and I think they were asked to do one more favor, and that's what pulled them back in. It's just like, God.
Yeah, they're like, we didn't even take those beers for that favor. We're out of here.
I know, yeah.
They're so stoked for themselves. And they get to the road, and there's only one goddamn road, and they see the helmet with the blood, and they're like, shit, and turn around.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Let's see.
As far as silly shit, what kind of silly shit we got? I got a lot of silly
I
shit.
got a lot of silly shit.
This is a
Oh my
sillier movie
gosh.
than I remembered.
I guess the hammering part falls into
That
silly
was
shit.
that's probably one of the top silly parts.
Yeah.
That
I
one's
just
great.
couldn't believe it. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm glad you caught that.
I didn't pay a lot of attention to that till you
I
thought that
can't
out,
believe
yeah.
nobody paid it. Like I can't believe it wasn't like more talked about in general, right? Because I'm like, that's just crazy. Like he's just like hammering, like not once, not twice, literally more than 5 times, and he didn't hit it fucking once.
Nope.
And just like,
And they just let him go. Like they were
Yeah.
just like,
okay.
good enough.
yeah.
Good enough.
No wonder they're
Dude.
stuck in perfection. Right?
Oh my god.
One of the things I thought was hilarious is when so Earl and Val drive back to the town and they have those tentacles attached to the axle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately Walter starts bartering with them. He's like,
Yeah.
I'll take that off your hands.
Oh yeah.
And then they're like, oh, sure, sucker. Oh, $15. They finally agree on the $15. But the next scene, you see he has a little sign up that says, it was like, take a picture with these little monsters for $3. And,
Yeah.
And Val and they are taking pictures. They're taking pictures. All the kids are, taking pictures next to it. And Val and Earl are pissed like, damn it, why didn't we think of that? That's such a good scheme.
What a hustle.
Wasn't it later too, like when they find, I think one of the graboids or its tongues or whatever, like, like they're just like, oh, Walter's not gonna get $15 for this one.
They're just like, no,
We're still thinking about bartering.
we're not
you know?
getting suckered this time.
These dang hillbillies. Oh my goodness. I liked I don't know if anybody else caught this. There was a menu inside of Walter's shop. It was on the wall and it was missing all kinds of letters. So it had all these typos. I don't know if anybody.
Yeah, it was
No.
like chai chi. One of them was like a chai chi hot dog. It was
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like chili cheese, but it said chai chi.
Like there was just a few letters missing, enough letters to make it just look so silly. Like what is a chai chi hot dog?
Yeah.
I thought it was cute. And the license plate. There was like a lot of little like
Bert's license plate. That was
little
badass.
Easter egg things that were made just for the movie.
His license plate was Uzi for you.
Easy for you.
It's like, hell yeah, dude. He's about that life.
You know,
Oh, Bert.
Michael Gross was the only guy who did everything Tremors. He was in
Yes.
all 7
Yeah.
movies.
Yes.
The show, they had like some 20 or 30th like celebration, and he was like the only one who like showed up for it or
He's
something.
all
like,
about it, man.
He's
Looking
all
at his
about it.
credits, yeah, it's
Yeah.
all over. He's Mr. Tremors, dude.
He's
But he's
Mr.
such a good
Tremors.
role, though.
I don't know anybody else who could do it.
Honestly,
it was great.
his role was definitely like probably my favorite role in the whole movie.
Yeah,
you know, like
for
he's
sure.
so cool, so funny, like
Funny, badass at the same
badass.
time.
Yeah,
These
exactly.
Hydra Shock hollow points. It's like, oh come on, Bert.
Yeah, at the beginning, he's like, come on, man, you don't know the difference.
And like the first homemade bomb he set off, he just like barely let it like fall right over the edge of the container that everybody was like hiding in to like not get eaten by the graboids, and it blows up like 5 feet away from everybody, and it's got like shrapnel in it. I just thought, like, Bert, what the hell's going on here? And he's using his elephant gun to like shoot at the graboids in the sand. He's just like, it's not penetrating. And he just
yeah.
kept on trying
Totally
and wasting
impatient.
all these shots. Oh, like bless Heather for her patience.
Yeah,
Like, just
they're
like
good yin and yang.
maybe stop, stop wasting ammo.
So cool deaths.
Cool deaths.
We went over a few of them, I think, already.
Yeah,
but
but
the,
the
Graboid
final,
deaths.
the
Oh,
final, the
man.
graboid deaths. Yeah,
that one's
Yeah.
legit.
That was fucking cool, man. You know what I'm saying?
Very cool.
He outsmarted the graboids at the end, and the graboid, the last one.
Yeah.
And that was just so cool. He basically like random. So basically, it was a stampede, right? Like,
Yeah.
like you throw it behind him, so it's gonna make him push forward. They're
Yeah.
going to the side. He jumps over. It goes underneath
Ran
him.
him off a cliff, basically.
Goes off the cliff. You know.
Yeah.
That was very, very epic, very hero-ish like.
Yeah.
And it literally checks out all the boxes basically, you know, and that makes him a hero at that moment. That's like the ultimate like we win, you know,
Yeah.
moment, and it was very cool.
I got a quick question for you guys. Do you think that when Val killed the graboid at the end, that he was more happier that he was a hero, or that he now has Earl's acceptance because he had a plan and it worked?
Oh, good call.
Huh?
Yeah, because Earl's always kind of giving him shit.
Like,
Yeah.
you got a plan ahead, Val.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like
Oh,
Earl
that's
had
good.
not like a ton of respect for Val just because he's like a young guy.
Yeah, he kind of had that,
And that kinda like-
older brother thing with him. Yeah,
And that one,
Totally.
I think that made it like, all right,
yeah.
you're the guy
You
now.
did it.
You
You
That's
did
pretty
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Saved us. Hell yeah.
Just use that bomb.
Yeah,
Use
yeah.
that last. No matter what you do, use that last bomb. And I like his belt buckle. It kind of went with his name because his name is Valentine, and it was in the shape of a heart. And I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
that was really cool little Easter egg. And
All right.
like a lot of people thought maybe Kevin Bacon still had that belt buckle, but he does not. Like I don't think anybody knows what happened to it. But there are people on the internet who really want that belt buckle.
Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah.
Yeah. Even, I mean, Kevin Bacon, like, for the longest, I guess, didn't even like being in that film, correct? Like,
Yeah.
he
was a little
Yeah.
embarrassed by
hated
it.
being
yeah.
about it, like, being in that movie. I mean, that's, I'm not sure what, I think that's before, or this is after Footloose, right? Or something like that. So
you might
he's
be
kind of
right.
like, just came out of Footloose, goes into Tremors, it's not a home run kind of movie.
Mm-hmm.
Has great actors to be a home run movie. I mean, I guess throughout the years it did become that,
Oh,
but it's one of those things. It's like, damn, like, imagine if he just didn't do it. I think that would have been a big miss, because it's like his character is so good there, the way he plays it. Without him, I don't think it would have been the same either. So I think I'm grateful that he actually did it, because without him, Tremors wouldn't be Tremors, you know?
Totally.
I think he
I
like,
agree.
I don't know if disavowed is the word, but he like didn't recognize that like it existed for a while. Like I
Yeah.
guess when he made it, like his wife Kira Sedgwick was pregnant, and he was doing it because for a movie, and he was
Oh.
like, so fucking depressed. He's like, I'm doing a movie about underground worms, and like didn't like acknowledge it for a long time. And then finally, I think up to like 5-10 years ago or something, he finally came out and was like, you know what, I love this movie. It was the most fun I ever had making a movie, because now he's like, super like,
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon, right? But yeah, it's like, how could you not like it? Like you said, I couldn't picture anybody else being in his role.
Yeah.
Well, I think it also aged really well. I think it was like
Totally.
at the time, I think sure maybe it was a little cheesy, but I think
I mean, it's still cheesy.
it's a cult classic though
Yeah.
at this point.
It's a
Yeah,
Super
good
cheesy.
It very much is. Yeah, super cheesy. It's a great popcorn movie. It's like like I said, it kind of hits a lot of notes. It's not offensive. It's a pleasing movie.
Yeah.
Good pace, not too long.
And pole vaulting. It's
Pole
got pole
vaulting.
vaulting. Hey, do you know how to pole vault? That's another quote. Hey, do you know how to pole vault in clothes that don't stretch at all? Because they were like wearing full on
That
denim.
was quite the feat.
I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
And
I
those two
don't think I could
guys,
do that.
I mean, didn't Earl go up and then like come
Yeah,
back?
just came
on one of the
down
rocks?
and land on his back.
Do over.
That was great.
All right.
But yeah, that's all I got for
Sick
Tremors.
movie.
That's all I
thought
got for Tremors
was
as
cool.
well.
I'm glad you guys liked it. Glad you
Yeah,
guys.
great pick for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome pick.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you
was fun.
so
Yeah.
much.
No doubt.
All the movies we've done so far are so different from each other.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, we're
that's
trying to mix it
powerful.
up.
Yeah.
I think that's very, very, very good. That's why it's good to have 4 people up here, just because we all have different likes and different, some of us have watched movies and others haven't, and it's kind of cool to like even go back to movies that you like really liked and other people haven't seen, because it like shows them a new way of horror, a new form of horror, so it's very cool.
Yeah. I may have
Even though
never
I-
watched
I-
Terrifier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you're a fan.
I'm a big fan
Oh,
now.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm
it's kind of
grateful.
cool. It's kind of cool to
I'm
see.
thankful.
Yeah, thankful.
I'm thankful.
But you know what?
You're
It's
welcome.
very cool to see art like on so much things. Like there's even like Christmas ornaments now of like art. It's freaking cool. Like if you go to like Five Below, they have Terrifier ornaments.
At Five Below?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Shout out to
Might have
Five
to make
Below.
a visit.
Yeah.
gotta
Like
go.
little things like that. So it's like you start seeing them in all the like stores. Like of course now you see them with like Christmas shirts. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
of Art the Clown. Like I'm like, damn, this is freaking cool. Like he's becoming like an icon of horror now, and I'm all for it.
Heck yeah.
yeah.
I think I said that last time as well. I'm like, dude, I'm excited to see him on so many things, but that was like during Halloween season, and now it's going into like or Christmas season, and you still see him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, fuck yeah, like
Yeah.
this is great, man. Like you start seeing him everywhere, and I think he's gonna blow up even more. Yeah.
We said like when we did our episode, like I think actually on it, we were talking about like, oh, he's a new slasher that's gonna live on forever. It's beyond that. Like you guys know, he like closed the New York Stock Exchange bell. Like
Ring the
just-
bell.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
they
it's
have
crazy,
Oh,
bro.
man,
Yeah,
he's
like,
mainstream.
He's like,
dude.
it's like to the point where it's like so gory. People are just like, this guy is actually, it's a cool guy.
That's rad,
Come on.
dude.
Yeah. It's mind blowing. Isn't
I
it?
mean, he outdid freaking Joker, right? Like Joker is like on Prime
Oh,
now,
man.
like
Yeah.
and Terrifier still in theaters,
Yeah.
like, and they came out at the same weekend.
That's independent.
It's freaking crazy.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
highest
cool.
grossing unrated movie of all time. Like
Wow.
that. Sorry,
That's
it's
amazing.
so it blows my mind.
That's
yeah.
insane.
We tip
It's
our
wild.
tiny little hats
Yeah,
to you.
tip the little tiny hat.
tiny tip of the hat.
That's hilarious.
You're the shit, Art.
So we're coming up on a holiday.
Maybe we need to talk about like everybody's Christmas or Thanksgiving bonus they're gonna get.
Yeah.
The Thanksgiving bonus.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, we're all going to recommend a movie that we all saw as kind of it's a silent pick that we all kind of agreed we were going to watch. But the movie Thanksgiving, directed by Eli Roth, we're going to just give it a quick little rundown. But if you guys haven't seen it, it's a good slasher movie. It's a good little kind of grindhousey kind of film. It takes place in, I think,
Plymouth?
the East Coast, Plymouth, yeah.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Patrick
those
Dempsey
accents
has
are
that
rough.
Boston accent. Yeah. I can't do it. Don't ask me.
The guy's in line or whatever. He's like, "Fuck you, go back to Chatham." I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, that's got to be like a town
Yeah,
that they're
yeah.
familiar with.
The girl's calling the other girl a kid. Get out of my face, kid. It's just like, oh, okay, you're Boston.
Eli Roth's from there, I think, or at least Mass. So he's probably like, all right, we're gonna make this super genuine. That's how
yeah.
that asshole would act there on
Oh.
Black Friday.
What's a
it's
goober
definitely-
chucker?
A what?
A goober chucker.
Yeah, Gooba Chucka. Yeah, what is that?
Like Patrick Dempsey called somebody. He was like, "Yeah, goober chunker,
didn't catch that.
chucker."
Holy shit.
Gooba Chucka.
And I had to Google it, and it still didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Look that up.
So weird.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like a good movie. It's a good fun movie. There's not too many Thanksgiving movies that are actually like fun horror flicks, and this was definitely that. You know, it was super fun. It has its funny moments, it has its exciting moments. There's good kills. Yeah, I recommend it to anybody that wants to watch a fun Thanksgiving movie, especially as going into Thanksgiving. This is like the perfect one to watch if you're into horror, you know, and horror and holidays. It's perfect. I think there's none better Thanksgiving movie than the movie Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. It's another good balance too. It's like good elements of gore, scary moments, funny moments. There's a lot of comedy in it.
For sure.
Yeah, it's I enjoy horror movies that aren't just one note, and that's definitely one of them. Richie got me hip to it. He told me to watch it. It's on Netflix. Guys, give it a shot. It's worth it.
No, they did a great job. I think before we wrap that up, like I think we should recognize like the idea it was a trailer in the Grindhouse Death Proof movie like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like Machete was that became a movie. So when I watched it, like when it actually came out, I was like, oh yeah, I'll check it out. It's probably gonna be whatever. I watched it twice. It was so
Yeah,
freaking
it's
good.
decent.
Yeah.
Solid.
Very creative deaths.
Yeah.
The trash can.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah, we don't want to give it away. Like, you should
Thanksgiving's
just watch
coming up.
it.
It came out last year, right? Like I
2023, I think.
2023. I watched it last year before Thanksgiving. I watched it with my two of my friends out there in Nashville, and I watched it at their house. My friend Daniel and his girl, Aaron, and we watched it, and I was kind of messed up, kind of like zoned out. We went out drinking that night and stuff like that, and watched the movie, and I was like, it's so good. And then I came back home and I watched it again, and I'm like, oh man, that's actually really good. And then I watched it again recently, and I was like, fuck, it's still good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a movie that's gonna no matter how many times you watch it, it's good. It's like not one of those movies that you watch and it gets boring. It just gets, it's fun. You know?
Yeah,
solid.
It's very fun.
Can I
Full of details.
recommend a second Thanksgiving movie that I actually
Let's go.
saw?
Oh, please, dude.
Yeah.
So it's on Hulu. It's part of their Into the Dark series, which like a few years ago they did this thing where they released a movie every month, and it's always centered around some kind of holiday. They got a Valentine's, New Year's, whatever. There's one called The Pilgrim. The synopsis is this family hires pilgrim reenactors to come to their Thanksgiving dinner, right? And actual pilgrims just start showing up piecemeal, and they think they're the reenactors, and it explains what happens later. But then they start like raising sheds and building shit on their property and doing all and like building a settlement on there, and then it's just like chaos ensues.
What the heck?
The Pilgrim. But watch Thanksgiving first. I just want to throw that in there.
Cool. We got a
The
couple
Pilgrim
movies for
sounds
you then.
wild.
Absolutely.
So when does the movie become like? How far do you go to make it like comedy to like make it horror, right? You have like movies like or cheesy, I would say, not necessarily comedy, right? Like you have like these older movies like Toxic Avengers, right? Mm-hmm. Is that considered more horror or more like kind of, I don't know, comic-y, kind of
that's kind of a mix.
Goofy,
Like a B movie?
That's almost like a campy B horror. Like there's elements of horror in there because the character of Toxie himself is actually a pretty horrific character,
for sure.
You know, but
okay, so
even though he's a nice dude in a tutu.
So
yeah.
So then how do you go with Hobo with a Shotgun? Have you guys seen that movie? Is that horror-ish or is that more like just a killing spree type of movie? And when does it cross? Like when does it like become like that's kind of horror or that's kind of that's just kind of like people murdering people?
I think it's gonna be when the deaths are so fantastical. Yeah. Like for instance, like Terrifier. I don't think that was supposed to be like totally a comedy, but he's like he's laughing when he's doing all this crazy stuff. And if he wasn't doing that, like, it probably wouldn't be as funny. If it was Michael Myers doing what he's doing, you'd be like, oh, damn.
Okay, so then you have like Shaun of the Dead, right? That's a horror comedy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it more horror or is it more comedy?
That's a great question you raised.
I feel like it's more on the comedy side.
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
Okay, Zombieland.
It's kind of there too, but it's funny. It's like the setting is horror, but it's like a comedy movie. That's kind of how I feel about those movies.
Yeah,
it's like set in a scary setting.
I think like all these style of movies are good, but it's like
Totally.
I want to know, it's like, what makes some more of this than more of that, right? More comedy than horror? Is it like a horror comedy, or is it like a mixture? Is it like, what would you grade it? Whether it's like 50% and 50%, or is it kind of like 40-20, or not 40-20, 40-60? Well, I don't know why I said
Like a ratio, like
40,
a ratio,
60, or you know what I'm saying?
like comedy to horror.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when does it become too much of a horror, too much of a comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really. I don't mind them blend. I've never minded the blend of it, and I don't think that you could be one, like too much of one or the other. Like me personally, because there can even be a little splash of horror, and I could still see it being a horror movie.
Have you guys seen that movie Warm Bodies? I think it's called.
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
I've seen
Zombies?
Yeah. So it's like, is that more like a love story, or is it more? That's
a good example.
So it becomes like different type of scenarios. It's like, I'm just curious, because it's like something that I've thought about it. I'm like, well, when does it become more of this and that? You know, like more of an action movie than a horror. You know, like, because that could be a big thing. Like, most of this is a lot of action in these horror movies, or what we consider horror movies. And then it's like, well, is it more of an action movie, or is it more of a horror movie? Like,
there's a bunch of series that are like that too, like what we're watching right now. We're watching From, and From's the same thing. Like, is it like a mystery, or is it horror? Or like there's one on HBO called, I think it's called like The Stranger or The Outsider, and it feels like a murder mystery almost all the way until the end. And I don't want to give it away because it's actually really good and you should watch it. But the mystery makes it really intriguing. But it's like the same thing. I think it's mostly mystery until the very last 2 episodes.
Have you guys seen that movie? What is it called? It's a Christmas movie that came out last year.
What kind of movie? Like zombie or?
No, it's like a I guess it's like, what is it called?
Is it like crime related?
Yeah. It's that guy. He's like a dad, and like they kill his family on Christmas, and then he goes like on a killing spree. I'm like, does that become more of a revenge movie, or is it more of a horror movie? It's like Slay something. Santa Slay
or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I can't think of it. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah. But I'm like, when does it become that versus that? You know, is it more like an action / like revenge movie, or is it more like a horror movie?
Well, I think so. I don't think there's like an easy answer to it. I think it's how like whoever not to sound like ambiguous, but
no.
View, like I've had some movies I can't think off the top of my head without taking a lot of time, but like I think are like really scary, and then like a friend of mine will be like, dude, that was funny as hell. Stupid. It wasn't even supposed to be.
For sure.
Even Audition.
Movies like that.
Audition, I felt the same way. I'm like, this movie is so many things all at once.
That's
and it's like a horror movie all the way at the very end of the movie, practically. But up until then, it's like a love story. It's a mystery. It's noir. It's all kinds of things.
But I think those kind of movies are better in a sense because they give you a little bit of everything, right? And the reason why I was asking is because I love that kind of stuff. I love when you're like, it's blended and you're kind of like on the fence. You're like, well, I'm not really sure what it is, but I'm like, it has some horror kind of like parts, right? Like it's like some horror-ish parts, some elements of horror, right? But I'm like, it could be a little bit of everything, and I think that makes a lot of the horror movies more exciting, and I think that's why horror movies has so much different genres in it. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different ways of horror. that makes it exciting.
Yeah, that's why I love it too.
There's different kind of monsters. There's different kind of horror movies. You got like Tremors, or like the graboids. You know what I'm saying? Like then you have like Art the Clown. Then you have freaking, I don't know. It just keeps on going. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I feel that that's very cool. You have Jaws. You know what I'm saying? It's actually like a freaking shark. You know, and it's like it.
Would you call it a creature feature?
Yeah. Then you have people like Frankenstein, and you have like the Universal monster style. So it's like there's just so many different type of horror, you know, and I feel that that's the reason why we're able to just experience so many different characters and different type of movies like Thanksgiving and stuff, because it's just like it's never ending. It's never ending, and I think that's what makes horror movies fun, man. Like you can never stop enjoying a type of horror movie, because you could be like, man, I do want to watch something kind of creepy, but I also want to laugh. There's a movie for that too, you know what I'm saying?
There's a
like,
bunch of them. Yeah,
I want to see a lot of blood. There's stuff like that too, you know. I want to see people coming out from the underground with these zombies. Just never ending, man. So fun.
Totally.
What do you guys think about this though? Like maybe like the passing of time. For instance, like in the 80s when they made these slashers, it's like these are gonna be some scary movies, right? And then like as now we watch them and like I love them because I'm like, oh, they're just so silly and stupid. She keeps running upstairs. Totally. Or Frankenstein, the Universal monsters when they first came out, like
that was
30s, 40s. They're probably like, this is really scary. And now it's like, I appreciate and respect it, but I'm not getting jump scares. You know, like we are nowadays. It's just, I don't know,
like Nosferatu. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like no noise, no nothing. You know what I'm saying?
100-year-old horror movie.
Yeah. It's like that was. People used to be creeped out about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
a
like
shadow,
just a shadow. And I'm like
totally
freaking crazy.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of options we got. I think that's why I enjoy doing this. It's there's so many different directions we could go, and it feels like we're not going to run out of options.
And right now, like as we said earlier, we want to thank all the followers and subscribers on YouTube. We have 530 right now. Let's get to 1,000. Let's set it. Let's get 1,000 in the next couple of weeks before the year's over. Hopefully, let's get 1,000 followers, and we'll keep on making it more exciting for you guys. We'll keep on bringing new levels to it. I feel that we're getting better with our production.
Totally.
What I'm saying? So it's like we're trying our hardest to bring you guys better quality podcasts. So we hope you guys are enjoying it, and we hope you guys are having fun with us, because we're having a blast out here on these Wednesday nights. Just enjoying talking about horror movies and just spooky stuff, and I'm very excited for, even though because Halloween's over, like I'm excited for the next couple of holidays. I like watching Krampus on Christmas night and stuff like that. We still have a lot of like horror movies that based off of these holidays, so I'm very excited to bring that to you guys sooner than later, these next couple of episodes.
Totally.
And we're trying to make a big effort to not give you movies that are predictable.
For sure.
Like we could be covering all of like the mainstream stuff, but that's not us. Like we don't want to be predictable. And
we want you guys to find new movies to watch. Saying like if we give you guys movies that you guys have already watched over and over and over again, it makes it not as exciting. So when we drop these movies, it's like might be movies you never seen before, and that makes it exciting for us to be able to like open up new doors of horror for you guys.
Speaking of which, I think we're gonna try to get to the next it's time to play the game.
Let's go.
So I think do you guys just want to do it? I think we're just gonna have since Richie and Hillary haven't gotten the opportunity to choose one.
Damn it.
I
it's
think
the
what we're gonna
losers
do
round.
is
The
just
losers round.
don't say it like that.
No, it's a potential
one of you's
winners
gonna
round. You
win.
like that.
Everyone's a winner.
What I'm scared of is that after today, there's only gonna be one person that has not won.
And
I don't want to be
that person.
It's gonna be me. I'm gonna lose right
This is
now.
gonna be hilarious. This is gonna be hilarious. No, let's do it, Hillary.
But if I
smoke him, Hillary.
lose right now,
Oh, you're
then
doing
that
2 out of
means
3.
you get to I get to have the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do it, guys.
All right.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
All right.
You got it.
Rock, paper, scissors. God damn it. Rock, paper, scissors. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, Richie. Please don't kill me.
That's hilarious.
Great job.
Okay,
I
guys.
honestly, every time I did, I'm like, I got this. And it's like, I'm lost. Why?
I've never won anything in my life, so this is a
Never
really big
lost
deal
this much.
for me. All right, so Thanksgiving was directed by Eli Roth. I'm going to go with another Eli Roth, an old one, Cabin Fever.
Yo.
It feels like an autumnal movie to me, and I
Actually-
don't know why that is.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So yeah,
I go with
an
that. That's great.
autumnal movie.
Cabin Fever.
Cabin
All
fever.
right, that's my pick.
I appreciate your pick, not only because it's a great movie, but we broke our single title streak. Because up until
that's
now,
true.
we've had only single title movies. Now, 5th episode, Tremors, Audition, Terrifier.
Oh,
Halloween.
good observation.
Yeah.
I was thinking back. I'm like, yeah, they're all single words. That's so
Good
funny.
job, Hillary. You're a winner.
Cabin
You're a
Fever.
trailblazer.
We're
So
doubling
good job.
A trailblazer.
Ow.
2 words.
2 words, 2 words. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna move forward to next episode. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. We would really appreciate that. Like I said, by the end of the year, we're gonna try to get to 1,000 followers on on YouTube. So let's make sure you guys like and subscribe.
Drop a comment. Say what's up. Until
Yeah.
next time, guys. See ya.
Later.
Hell yeah, dudes.